For decades, movie car enthusiasts have argued over which four-wheeled icon truly defines Back to the Future. Most fans instantly point to the stainless steel DeLorean, sleek, sci-fi, and unforgettable. But behind that time-traveling legend lurks another machine that quietly captured hearts. A black 1985 Toyota SR5 pickup, Marty McFly's dream ride. Some say it's just a prop, overshadowed by the flux capacitor. Others insist it's the real symbol of youthful ambition and 1980s cool. Yet, beneath its glossy paint and KC lights lies a story few fans really know. One filled with hidden details, myths, and surprising truths. One-year engineering crossroads. The truck Marty McFly drooled over wasn't just any 1980s pickup. It was a one-year-only anomaly in Toyota's lineup. According to Motor Trend, movie trucks aside, 1985 four-wheel drive Toyota SR5 pickups are one-year-only anomalies. In addition to being the first Toyota SR5 pickups made with EFI, the 1985 trucks also are the last that were made with a straight front axle. That single sentence captures what makes Marty's black SR5 so special. And the 1985 model sits right at the crossroads of Toyota's old-school toughness and new-age technology. It had electronic fuel injection, a big leap forward for performance and reliability, yet still kept the heavy-duty solid front axle beloved by off-road purists. Usually when a manufacturer updates the engine with modern tech, the rest of the truck follows suit. But here, Toyota mixed the old and the new for just one model year. In the film, that subtle detail made all the difference. The straight axle gave the truck its muscular stance, while EFI gave it the punch of something ahead of its time. The result? A truck that didn't just look cool, it symbolized transition, ambition, and the mechanical evolution of the era. Marty wasn't dreaming of a fantasy vehicle. He was dreaming of a rare engineering moment that, quite literally, would never happen again. The shining black dream truck. When Marty McFly opens that garage door in Back to the Future, he's met with a sight that burned itself into pop culture forever. A tricked-out black Toyota SR5 truck, as shining and beautiful as when it sat on the showroom floor. It wasn't just a car reveal. It was a cinematic symbol of aspiration, freedom, and reward. The glossy black pickup looked brand new, untouched by time, a perfect visual echo of the film's theme, rewriting your destiny. What made that moment resonate was how unreal that truck looked. In 1985, seeing a 4x4 pickup polished to mirror finish, with roll bars, KC lights, and that showroom gleam gave off the energy of success. The dream every young viewer could imagine parking in their driveway. It wasn't a sports car or a DeLorean. It was something attainable yet idealized. The kind of machine that said, "You made it." The black paint reflected more than just light. It reflected a kind of fantasy rooted in the real world. Most trucks from that era were tools, beaten up and dusty. But this SR5 was presented like a trophy. That contrast between utility and perfection made the reveal unforgettable. For Marty, it wasn't just a vehicle. It was proof that his choices could rewrite everything, that even a small-town kid could end up behind the wheel of his dream, from hero truck to wreckage. After Back to the Future wrapped filming, you'd think the truck that symbolized Marty McFly's ultimate victory, the gleaming black 1985 Toyota SR5, would have been tucked safely into a museum or studio vault, but no. According to Silodrome, sadly the truck used in the first film is believed to have been wrecked by the person who won it in a raffle after filming was completed. The studio apparently gave it away as a promotional prize, and the lucky winner soon turned unlucky when the iconic movie truck met its end in a crash. It's one of those behind-the-scenes stories that flips expectations. The very truck that represented hope, success, and new beginnings in the film ended its real-life journey in total destruction. This wasn't just a prop. It was a fully functional pickup, built to drive and shine. Yet, like so many movie cars, its post-film fate was shaped by chance rather than preservation. Imagine that. The same black SR5 that had millions of fans dreaming of adventure wound up crumpled metal on some forgotten roadside. This moment in automotive film history captures a deeper truth: the disconnect between Hollywood fantasy and real-world fragility. Marty's cinematic reward was a promise of the future. The truck's real-world demise was a reminder that even legends made of steel and chrome can't escape fate. Clone trucks behind the scenes. When fans watch Marty McFly hop into his dream Toyota SR5, it's easy to assume there was only one truck carrying the legend through the trilogy. But According to Greg's Toyota restorations, there were actually 2 trucks used in the film. The first truck was a 1985 Toyota as well. A second truck was then sourced and built to almost identical specs to the first one. This was the truck used in the following 2 films. This detail sheds light on the hidden realities of movie production. Filmmakers often use multiple vehicles for stunts, backups, and continuity purposes. In the case of Marty's black SR5, the first truck handled Part 1, while a second was built to replicate the look for Parts 2 and 3. To the audience, the truck appears as a single consistent vehicle, but in reality, 2 slightly different machines carried the role of the hero truck. For enthusiasts and collectors, this nuance is significant. Each truck may have minor differences, from roll bar design to bumper shape or light covers, that distinguish one from the other. This affects restoration choices and the authenticity of replicas. For history buffs, it also reveals the logistical challenges of film production. Scheduling, stunt safety, and maintaining continuity across multiple films required careful planning and clever replication. The story of Marty's clone trucks turns a simple movie prop into a fascinating glimpse behind the curtain of Hollywood filmmaking. Hollywood Truck's Dark Detour. After its time on the big screen, Marty McFly's Toyota SR5 didn't just fade quietly into a garage or museum. The second truck used in the trilogy would end up being used by smugglers to run drugs between the United States and Mexico. The image of a gleaming black pickup, once the symbol of teenage ambition and dream fulfillment, suddenly inserted into an entirely different narrative, is almost surreal. This unusual chapter shows how movie vehicles can take on lives of their own, long after filming wraps. A truck that represented hope and fantasy became a tool in a dangerous and illicit real-world adventure. While the chain of events isn't fully documented and verification is tricky, collector circles have repeated the story enough for it to become part of the SR5's lore. The idea of a Hollywood prop being swept up into smuggling operations transforms the vehicle from a simple screen icon into a legend with a shadowy history. This detour from glitzy Hollywood to high-stakes smuggling adds an unforgettable footnote to the life of a vehicle that audiences once only knew on screen: Marty's pickup gear upgrade. Marty McFly's 1985 Toyota SR5 wasn't just any black pickup. It was a carefully tricked-out machine designed to make every teenager's fantasy come alive. On screen, the truck appears as a lifted black 4-wheel drive SR5 extra cab, complete with film-correct KC highlights lighting, tubular bumpers, US wheels, and Goodyear Wrangler off-road tires. This wasn't standard equipment in 1985. Each piece of gear signaled performance, adventure, and style that went far beyond what most buyers could walk into a dealership and order. The lift gave the truck a commanding stance, while the chunky tires and tubular bumpers hinted at rugged off-road capability. The roll bar outfitted with KC auxiliary lights turned a simple utility vehicle into a weekend adventurer's dream, capable of conquering lakeside trips or forest trails. Even the US wheels added a touch of flash that elevated the truck's visual appeal. For Marty, these accessories weren't just decoration. They symbolized freedom, independence, and the allure of adulthood. For enthusiasts, this combination of options transforms the SR5 from a workhorse into a statement machine. Spotting these details is crucial for screen-accurate replicas, and it illustrates how production designers crafted a vehicle that felt aspirational, yet grounded in reality. Marty's black SR5 wasn't just a truck, it was the ultimate late 80s fantasy, outfitted with gear that marked it as extraordinary among its peers. Marty's truck gear upgrade. Marty McFly's black 1985 Toyota SR5 wasn't just a plain pickup, it was a carefully crafted fantasy on wheels. On screen, the truck is lifted, 4-wheel drive, and dressed with film-correct KC highlights lighting, tubular bumpers, US wheels, and Goodyear Wrangler off-road tires. Back in 1985, most of these accessories weren't standard or widely available. They were niche or dealer-optional extras, the kind of gear that made a truck stand out in a crowd. The 4x4 lift gave the SR5 a commanding stance, making it look ready for off-road adventures. The giant tires, tubular bumpers, and roll bar with auxiliary KC lights transformed it from a utility vehicle into a weekend warrior's dream. Every detail, from the gloss black paint to the flashy wheels, signaled adventure, status, and youthful freedom. For Marty, this truck wasn't just about transport, It represented independence, the thrill of hooking up with Jennifer, and the open road possibilities that defined teenage ambition in the 1980s. For car enthusiasts, these aftermarket touches are what make replicas screen-accurate and collectible. The combination of rare gear and thoughtful design elevated Marty's truck above any ordinary SR5, cementing it as one of the most memorable vehicles in film history. Marty's truck hits six figures. When it comes to collector vehicles, sports cars usually steal the spotlight. But Marty McFly's 1985 Toyota SR5 Extra Cab has proven that a humble pickup can command serious attention and serious money. A replica built to movie spec sold for $34,000 at one auction, yet a more recent example fetched a staggering $110,000. The difference? Nostalgia, screen accuracy, and pop culture provenance. A late 80s 4x4 pickup might be common in one context, but tie it to a beloved film, add accurate accessories, and suddenly it becomes a high-stakes collector item. This skyrocketing value reflects more than just a financial trend. It highlights how cinematic history elevates otherwise ordinary machines. The truck's auction performance also ties back to its unique attributes. The rare one-year-only 1985 model, the lifted 4x4 setup, and all the aftermarket touches that made it Marty's dream ride. Add in the multi-truck history from the trilogy, and the question of which one is the real truck fuels the fascination even further. Imagine walking into a garage and seeing the black SR5, the same one that symbolized Marty's aspirations on screen. That's the allure. Paying six figures for a pickup doesn't feel as much about the metal and engine as it does about owning a tangible piece of nostalgia. Toyota pickup becomes iconic. In the 1980s, Toyota pickups were known primarily as reliable, no-nonsense workhorses. They hauled cargo, handled job sites, and got the job done without fanfare. But Marty McFly's black 1985 SR5 Extra Cab changed that perception entirely. On screen, the truck isn't just transportation. It's a symbol of aspiration, success, and personal achievement. When Marty sees it in the altered timeline, it's more than a gift from his parents. It's the embodiment of a dream realized, complete with lifted 4x4 stance, glossy black paint, and rugged off-road styling. The impact of this cinematic moment reverberated beyond the film. The SR5 suddenly became desirable in a way it never had been before. Collectors, enthusiasts, and teenage fans alike began referring to the model as the Marty truck, replicating its look or seeking out comparable 1985 pickups. This shift highlights how pop culture can influence brand perception. A vehicle once seen purely as functional now carries a sense of cool, independence, and status. The SR5 moves from garage workhorse to a globally recognized symbol of adventure and aspiration. Marty's truck demonstrates that sometimes Hollywood storytelling can redefine not just a car's image, but an entire segment's cultural perception. Marty's pickup perfectly recreated. For the 30th anniversary of Back to the Future, Toyota didn't just put together a generic promotional vehicle. They embarked on a mission to recreate Marty McFly's 1985 Toyota SR5 with extraordinary attention to detail. Every element was carefully sourced and replicated to evoke the same magic fans remembered from the film. The team tracked down the exact shade of black used on the original truck and painstakingly reproduced the 1985 tailgate logo with its period-correct styling. Vintage 1985 mud flaps were located and slightly modified to fit the modern frame, while tubular front and rear bumpers, a light bar, and the iconic KC highlights lamps with their bright yellow covers were all faithfully reproduced. Even modern updates were handled with precision. The headlights were upgraded to LED units, but maintained the original glow, preserving the look while subtly improving performance. The tubular bumpers were handcrafted to match the angles and proportions of the movie prop, and every component was engineered to feel authentic, not just visually accurate. The goal was to create a truck that bridged decades, delivering nostalgia while remaining fully functional. Fans could see and feel the thoughtfulness in each detail, from the color-matched paint to the glowing KC lights, creating a truck that felt like it had driven straight out of 1985 and right into the present. McFly Tacoma Channels, 1985. In 2016, Toyota unveiled a Back to the Future Tacoma tribute that went far beyond a simple marketing stunt. The goal wasn't just to slap a badge on a truck, it was to recapture the exact presence of Marty McFly's 1985 SR5. Modern TRD wheels were carefully selected to echo the look of the original movie alloys, while BF Goodrich all-terrain tires recreated the rugged, adventurous stance that made Marty's black pickup so iconic on screen. Engineers even used a factory lift to get the proportions just right, ensuring the truck had the same commanding posture as the original. But the attention to detail didn't stop there. Headlights and taillights were subtly reworked to mimic the shapes and textures of the 1985 model, from lens patterns to bezel designs. Even though it's a modern Tacoma underneath, the visual cues were unmistakably retro. Fans could immediately recognize the silhouette, stance, and lighting as a direct homage to the SR5 Hero truck. Although the McFly edition was produced only as a one-off promotional item, the effort shows how committed Toyota was to bridging decades of automotive design. It became an aspirational object for fans, inspiring some to attempt their own screen-accurate replicas using aftermarket parts. This truck demonstrates that even in a world dominated by EVs and advanced technology, the charm of a black lifted pickup from 1985 remains undeniably magnetic, and the dream of driving Marty's truck lives on. Autographed SR5 replica auction. When most people think of Back to the Future, the DeLorean DMC-12 immediately comes to mind. Yet, there's another vehicle that captured the imagination of fans, the 1985 Toyota SR5 pickup that represented Marty McFly's ultimate dream. While it only had a few moments on screen, the black SR5 became a symbol of aspiration, freedom, and teenage cool, parked behind Doc Brown's lab and ultimately gifted to Marty as a reward for his time-traveling heroics. Recently, a meticulously crafted replica of this iconic truck surfaced for auction, offering collectors a rare chance to own a near-perfect recreation. Every detail mirrors the screen-used vehicle: the glossy black paint, tubular roll bar, and signature KC highlights perched above the bed. What truly sets this replica apart, though, is the connection to the film itself. It carries autographs from Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd. These signatures transform it from a faithful movie-inspired build into a tangible piece of cinematic history, blending nostalgia with collectability. Even decades later, this SR5 resonates not just as a car, but as a symbol of ambition and youthful dreams. It shows that a humble pickup can transcend its practical roots to become a cultural artifact, carrying the same spirit of adventure and longing that audiences first saw in the 1980s. A piece of pop culture that's as aspirational as it is collectible. Movie truck lost, recovered. After the first Back to the Future film wrapped, the original Toyota SR5 used on set met an untimely end in a crash. With the vehicle gone, Universal Studios had to source another identical 1985 SR5 for the sequels, painstakingly recreating every detail: the tubular roll bar, KC highlights, off-road trim, and glossy black finish. What followed, however, reads like a plot twist straight out of a screenplay. Once production concluded, the second truck transitioned into ordinary life. Its Hollywood accessories were stripped, the black paint replaced with a taxi orange color, and it became just another daily driver. Years later, it resurfaced in the most unexpected of places, in the hands of a Mexican drug cartel. The truck's cinematic past was forgotten, its fame obscured by its mundane and illicit life. When investigators eventually traced the vehicle's VIN during a raid, fans and collectors were stunned. A piece of Hollywood history had survived, albeit scarred and altered. Once rebuilt and restored, it returned to its original glory, complete with screen-accurate details. High miles, fresh engine. One of the documented Marty McFly trucks, either screen-used or a meticulously restored auction piece, tells a fascinating mechanical story. The odometer reads a staggering 253,896 miles, a number that evokes decades of hard work, road trips, and adventures. Yet beneath that well-traveled exterior lies an engine with just 1,000 miles on the rebuild. The contrast between the body's experience and the engine's freshness creates a unique dynamic. The truck carries the patina of time and history, while its powertrain delivers almost new performance. On screen, they endure stunts, multiple takes, and repeated transport between sets. Off-screen, they may require engine rebuilds to maintain reliability, especially if they continue as showpieces, auction items, or collector vehicles. It's not uncommon for restorers or studios to preserve the exterior and signature quirks of a classic vehicle while modernizing or refreshing the mechanical components. It's a concrete measure of the truck's history and the care taken to preserve its function. Visualizing nearly 250,000 miles on a late 80s Toyota pickup, yet imagining it running like new adds an almost surreal layer to the story. 1 year only extra cab. Digging into the VIN and build data of Marty McFly's black Toyota SR5 reveals something fascinating. This wasn't just any 1985 pickup. It's a deluxe 4x4 extra cab featuring a 22RE 2.4-liter EFI 4-cylinder engine, a 5-speed manual transmission, and a solid front axle. Each of these details tells a story about where Toyota was at the time and why this particular truck stands out even decades later. The extra cab designation means there's extra space behind the driver's seat, a relatively rare and appealing option in the mid-1980s. The four-wheel drive setup gave it serious off-road credentials, and the 22RE EFI engine marked a shift toward more modern, fuel-injected power plants in North America. Add a 5-speed manual, and you have a configuration that appealed to enthusiasts who wanted both capability and driver engagement. All these specifications also make it easier for collectors and restorers to separate a true movie-spec truck from replicas. The VIN and build sheet provide verification points. The solid front axle, engine type, and transmission all align with the 1 year only 1985 SR5 4x4 package. This attention to detail underscores how even a vehicle mostly famous as a fantasy object in a film had advanced mechanical features for its era. 1985 SR5 Mechanical Unicorn. Marty McFly's black Toyota SR5 wasn't just a stylish prop. It was a remarkable piece of automotive engineering. The 1985 model occupies a unique place in Toyota history, earning the nickname Unicorn Year among enthusiasts. It was the only year that combined the old-school solid front axle with the newly introduced electronic fuel injection. This hybrid design offered a rare balance, the rugged durability of early Hilux trucks with the modern efficiency and responsiveness of EFI technology. For drivers, this meant a truck that could tackle rough terrain without compromise, yet start reliably and respond smoothly to throttle inputs. The straight front axle provided off-road toughness, ideal for adventurous scenarios, while EFI brought refinement that made the truck easy and enjoyable to drive in everyday settings. In the context of the movie, this combination mirrors Marty's own journey, a bridge between past and future, analog and digital, ordinary and aspirational. Collectors and fans still celebrate the 1985 SR5 because this one-year mechanical pairing is practically impossible to find elsewhere. While the glossy black paint, KC lights, tubular sport bar, and cinematic flair get the attention, it's the underlying engineering that cements its legendary status. The truck wasn't chosen solely for its looks. It represented a moment when Toyota merged traditional toughness with emerging technology, making Marty's dream ride as forward-thinking mechanically as it was culturally iconic. Tribute trucks, surprisingly modest prices. Marty McFly's black 1985 Toyota SR5 may be a pop culture icon, but not every homage commands a six-figure price. Recent market data shows that some tribute builds or replica Back to the Future SR5 pickups sell for between $20,000 and $40,000. These vehicles capture the spirit of the cinematic truck with styling cues like black paint, tubular roll bars, and KC lights. Yet they don't carry the provenance or screen-used history of the original or officially authenticated replicas. This creates an interesting contrast in the collector world. One truck, tied directly to the film or crafted with obsessive accuracy, can fetch over $100,000, while a well-executed tribute may remain accessible to enthusiasts at a fraction of that cost. Factors like documented authenticity, screen time usage, condition, and the precision of the build dramatically affect value. Even so, the tribute market offers a rare opportunity for fans to own a piece of cinematic nostalgia without reaching the astronomical prices reserved for the actual movie trucks. For anyone considering replicating Marty's pickup, this data highlights both opportunity and caution. You can achieve a visually faithful build without paying a premium, but the closer you get to exact screen accuracy and original spec components, the higher the cost climbs. From screen star to street sale, Marty McFly's iconic 1985 Toyota SR5 didn't stay glamorous after filming. One of the movie trucks slipped from Hollywood hero to everyday workhorse, black paint and off-road trim for a bright orange coat. Its signature KC lights, tubular bumpers, and other film-specific accessories were removed, leaving it as a typical pickup blending into the background of ordinary life. Years later, this same truck appeared on Craigslist in California, listed at a modest price. Its journey from blockbuster prop to bargain sale highlights how unpredictable the life of a film-used vehicle can be. Along the way, it even had a brief stint in smuggling operations across the US-Mexico border, adding another chapter to its unusual story. For fans and collectors, this story illustrates that not every movie vehicle ends up preserved in a museum or private collection. Some drift into everyday use, carrying the marks of their past adventures while waiting to be rediscovered. Cinematic legends like the orange Craigslist truck can experience a second, surprisingly ordinary and occasionally wild, life beyond the silver screen, height illusion from tires. At first glance, the 1985 Toyota SR5 looks like a rugged, lifted off-roader. Tall stance, aggressive wheels, and oversized tires give it that classic weekend adventure vibe. But the truth is more subtle. According to restoration experts, the truck retains its factory suspension height. The elevated appearance comes almost entirely from the large 31-inch Goodyear Wrangler tires paired with aftermarket wheels. This clever visual trick allowed the movie truck to look imposing and capable on screen, while keeping its ride manageable and practical for filming. The factory suspension meant the crew didn't have to deal with handling quirks or clearance issues that a true lift kit might have introduced. The combination of stock suspension with oversized tires created a bold, cinematic silhouette, perfect for Marty's dream truck fantasy. For enthusiasts looking to replicate the look, this detail is both enlightening and practical. You don't necessarily need to lift the truck to achieve screen-accurate proportions. Choosing the right tire size and complementary wheels can recreate the iconic stance. It's a testament to the filmmaker's eye for detail, balancing realism, drivability, and visual impact. Marty's truck returns alive. On October 21st, 2015, the iconic Back to the Future Day, Toyota pulled off a stunt that thrilled fans worldwide. They revived Marty McFly's 1985 Toyota SR5 pickup, using a modern Tacoma as the foundation. This wasn't just a simple tribute. Engineers meticulously recreated every detail to mirror the movie truck. From tubular bumpers and custom mud flaps to the vintage tailgate lettering, KC highlights, and off-road stance, the homage perfectly balanced nostalgia with modern engineering. The truck toured Los Angeles, New York, and Dallas, letting fans experience a piece of cinematic history brought to life in the present. Engineers integrated upgraded LED KC highlights, combining contemporary lighting performance with the classic 1980s aesthetic. The suspension and wheel setup evoked the original truck's bold, adventurous stance without compromising drivability. Headlights and taillights were rendered in vintage-inspired designs, preserving the character of Marty's dream vehicle. What makes this revival stand out is how it bridged past and present. The original SR5 represented teenage aspiration and cinematic cool in 1985, and Toyota's Tacoma recreation allowed fans to relive that moment decades later. While never intended for mass production, the promotional tour created a shared experience, a living homage to a film, a vehicle, and the cultural imagination surrounding both. Movie spec replica costs big. If you've ever dreamed of owning Marty McFly's SR5 pickup, here's a reality check. Recreating that iconic movie truck doesn't come cheap. Restoration specialists report that even a faithful screen spec replica starts at around $50,000, and the price can climb past $150,000 depending on how perfect you want it. That's a huge leap from the original 1985 SR5, which was an everyday pickup truck, affordable, practical, and unassuming. Every detail must be considered. Tubular bumpers, KC highlights with period-correct covers, vintage tailgate lettering, custom mud flaps, and exact tire and wheel combinations. Sourcing original or era-accurate parts, refurbishing components, and replicating the look and feel of the movie truck requires expertise and meticulous craftsmanship. Even the smallest deviations can knock a build out of screen-accurate territory, driving costs higher. For collectors, the investment isn't just financial, it's a commitment to authenticity. VN, matching, documentation, and attention to mechanical details like suspension and engine rebuilds all factor in. For fans of the film, it's a tangible way to own a piece of cinematic history, transforming Marty's fantasy into a real-world object of desire. From heroic screen time to an orange Craigslist bargain, Marty McFly's 1985 Toyota SR5 pickup has lived a life as wild as any time travel adventure. We've seen how one original truck was destroyed in an accident, while its successor ended up in the hands of a Mexican drug cartel, only to be restored decades later. We've also explored the staggering value of these vehicles. Some replicas fetch six figures at auction, while tribute builds can still be had for tens of thousands, showing how nostalgia and provenance drive collector demand. Beyond the drama and dollars, the truck itself is a mechanical marvel. The 1985 SR5 was a unicorn year, combining the rugged solid front axle with the newly introduced electronic fuel injection, an unusual mix that made it both durable and modern for its time. Toyota even went so far as to recreate the truck for the 30th anniversary and Back to the Future Day, proving that cinematic magic can inspire engineering feats decades later. Marty's truck reminds us that film vehicles aren't just props, they are cultural icons, engineering oddities, and enduring symbols of aspiration. From the screen to the auction block, its story continues to capture imaginations and collector wallets alike.